most remarkable things that go on. Much as I hate Castiel, which I do. I think Castiel's the stupidest character in the history of television. I love Misha Collins, and I love what Misha Collins represents and the things that he does, and my co-stars and my friends have made an environment which is welcoming, safe, comfortable, a place you can bring your kids, a place you can make friends, and it is a magical thing. This world is getting harsher and harsher and more difficult and more difficult to navigate. So I'm glad that you're here. As I said, you're going to make friends whether you like it or not. I hope to see a bunch of you. I'm going to be sitting in that stupid vendor's room in the back corner in the dark, waiting for you to come and spend money so I can feed my children. You lazy bastards spending all your money on Castiel photographs and, you know, the rest of that. So come and see me at some point today or tomorrow. I'm there for you. I will abuse you just as much at the table as I will do here. I love you all for that. Anyway, first question.
Hi. So I know.
Oh, it's you.
So since you're always so enthusiastic about telling people to write their own fan fiction, how do you...
I'm not enthusiastic. That is annoyance. When you say to me, what would happen if Crowley and James Sterling met on the moon? I was like, fucking write it yourself. I don't have the energy. What do you want to know?
So how do you feel actually knowing that there is so much fan fiction about you?
I feel sad
and some
for
of the
you.
weird...
I feel really sad that you don't have time to love and live and go outside, that you sit in your rooms, in your basements, writing stuff about me and Castiel. But apart from that, welcome. Anything else?
No, just that I'm guilty of being one of those writers.
You see what?
I'm guilty of being one of those writers.
Good luck.
Hi, Mark.
What?
So a couple actors have talked about how weird it is to have to do certain scenes without the special effects and the movements they have to do. So I wanted to know what your weirdest or silliest or awkwardest moment has been trying to film something as Crowley and having no actual special effects yet, just having to do it.
God, this is going to be a long day. I tell this story a lot. If you're new, it's as fun. If you're old, it's somewhat funny, and you're going to hear it again. But, how you doing, by the way? Good to see you. For example, the difference between reality and what you end up seeing, my favorite thing is the date between Crowley and Sheriff Jody Mills, which is the most evil thing I think they ever wrote for my character. For the one reason is that you guys know who Crowley is, and she doesn't. So it's nasty. It's awful. You're going on a blind date with the King of Hell, and you have no idea it's the King of Hell. And everyone's like, ah. But we were shooting it in this sort of restaurant, dinette, banquet sort of thing. And of course, when I'm talking on the telephone, I'm not talking on the telephone. I have a dead telephone, and Robin is reading lines from the other side. So I'm having this conversation with Jody Mills, and Kim's doing her bit of acting, and the camera's turned around onto me, and it's like suddenly Robin goes, ring, ring, and I look down at the phone, and I pick up the phone, and I think it'd be funny to say, this is the king, which they left in, which I thought was really funny, so I'm so clever. I managed to manipulate the extra line in there, so I feel really good about myself. So this is the king, and it's Dean calling me, saying, what the fuck, dude, blah, 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 blah. But it's Robin really going, blah, 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 and I'm going, blah, 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 blah. And that's great, and that's wonderful. And then when you get to post-production, after I finish that scene, it's been done, it's been wrapped up, etc., a bunch of things happened. First of all, I have a ringtone, which I didn't know was my ringtone until it appeared on television. And the ringtone, as the phone rings and I look down, it goes, I like big butts and I cannot lie. But of course, because it never actually happened, I pay no attention to it, which is even funnier because it's like it's so normal for me to have, some Mix-a-Lot sitting on my phone, which I now have as my ringtone for when the doorbell rings at my house. So it's kind of funny too. I like big butts, and I blew snot out of my nose when I saw it. And that was around the time that we were working out how to insult Jared. And it had taken a year or so of actually trying to insult him properly. Giraffe, mop-headed lumberjack, all the rest of it. And then we'd had the burnt-out mansion scene where Dean says, Dean's sitting on the couch with a beer, and I'm like, "Where's your moose?" And he goes, "Oh, he went to..." And that was it. So we had moose. That was great. And then in the insert shot of the phone, which is playing, "I like big butts and I cannot lie," the caller ID says, "Not moose." And I thought that was even funnier than the ringtone. So reality versus character-driven scenarios can be really, really funny. The other fun thing I did was when you had me with one of the princes of hell, Jerry was playing the role, and we were outside and Spate was directing, and there was 1 million geese in a field. It makes no sense at all. I'm in Canada, and there's an area where 1 million geese rest on their way to go somewhere. I swear to God, there's 1 million geese. It looks like a turkey farm, lining up. You can just pick your turkey sort of thing, but they're geese. So a bunch of geese in a field at night. So we're shooting around that, and I have this huge scene where we're outside, and both of us are talking in this mode like this, and whatever, and unfortunately, there's a lamp on the side of the building, and it's motion censored. And we're standing still doing the scene, and as you're in the middle of a scene, the light goes out. So I actually remember very well Richard Spate with a broom, off camera, waving a broom in front of the motion sensor while we're having this really serious scene about killing the Winchesters. And I think my position was like, "Can you give them a break? I mean, maybe this time you should give them a break." And our voices are getting deeper and deeper. And Richard Spate is waving harder and harder because we have 20 minutes to get this shot, and we're screwed until we do it. And the very next shot in the sequence is after I've very quietly posed the idea that maybe they should leave the Winchesters alone. I go flying through a barn door, which you see from the inside. It's literally Bugs Bunny. Like the shape of me is left in the barn door as I'm flying. And my poor stunt double had to go through that door and hit a metal tractor. The sound of his body hitting that tractor is still in my head. There was a dong sound that I just could not believe he didn't break like 26 bones in his body. It's the most amazing stunt I've seen. And it's just literally him getting thrown into a tractor. So I saw this, and I was laughing so hard at the fact that me and Jerry's voices were getting deeper and deeper. And whereas Richard Spate waving. It was like having that light, but that light suddenly goes out, so he's waving in front of it. So I'm laughing my ass off, but we're getting deeper and deeper. And then I had to dub in the scream of me going through the wall. So I thought, you know what will make Bob Singer laugh? I know what to do. So I'm at Warner Brothers, home of Bugs Bunny, doing the ADR, and I put the most high-pitched scream I could put into it. It's 2 octaves higher than that. It is so funny. Bob blew snot out of his nose watching it, and they kept it in. So if you go back and you watch that piece, you'll see it. That ADR scream that I did was purely to get a laugh out of my executive producer. That's the difference between reality and what you guys end up seeing. What do you want? Oh, I've given you way too much information. I have to be much meaner than this. It doesn't work. What do you want?
Hi, Mark. My name's Monica. So yesterday I was at Elena Huffman's panel, and she mentioned that there was a moment that she almost killed you. And
Who killed me?
No, Elena
Oh,
Huffman.
Elena?
She mentioned, and she said, Mark will gladly tell you the story if you ask him. So I would love to.
She's an idiot. She put a hand in a drawer to pull out a gun that was loaded, and it went off while pointing at me. And that's where you see in the blooper reel me turn into the camera guy. And that's because the idiotic director, who to this day, if I ever see him again, I'll punch him in the face, made her change hands for the shot. And so she had to pull, I think she had to pull it out with her left hand. So it wasn't her fault. And as she pulled it out, she had her finger on the trigger and it just went bang! I was like, fuck. Yeah, she almost killed me. That's stuff that we don't do anymore. We don't do any of that stuff anymore. There's no reason to anymore. We've got so much ability to digitize gunshots in and the rest of that stuff in. We're done. We're done with all of that. The safety procedures. Supernatural was an incredibly safe set. So the occasional accident only comes when somebody makes you rush, makes you hurry, makes you do things. And we're very, very good at going, everybody stop. We need to make sure we're doing this correctly. You know, if I'm pointing a weapon towards somebody and discharging it, the rules as to what is in that way, what has to be there, who shouldn't be there, who has a choice of being there, whether they're behind perspex or bulletproof lucite or Fernie pads or whatever, it's unwritten law. You do not screw with safety. You know, there is no reason for us ever to do that crap anymore. It's unfortunate, but so many showrunners I know have just said, we're done. We're not going bang, bang with blanks. Blanks are dangerous. 25 feet, a blank is dangerous. If I point a weapon at you and it has a blank in it, that can still fire hot crap at you from 25 feet. So we're done. Those days are gone, thank God, you know? And Supernatural was a crazy safe set to be on. I've been on shows which fired 9,000 rounds of ammunition a week and no accidents. And still, the liabilities are so high. You have to be really, really smart nowadays. What's up?
Hi, Mark. As someone who really loves mythology, I got curious about this. So, you yourself, what mythology creature would you want to own?
What,
out of
what?
like all mythology creature, what would you want to own out of all of them as a pet?
I can't understand it. It's a terrible sound up here. I've also got flying ears, so I'm deaf as a post.
Out of every mythology creature.
Hold on, I'm just coming to annoy you.
Okay. Okay.
What did you ask?
Out of every mythology creature,
Mythological creature.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
which one would you want to own as a pet? You yourself.
I do. I own three. I have 3 kids. They're all mythological creatures.
Is that it?
Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer.
Okay. Got it.
How do you know I don't own mythological creatures? I have an imagination, you know.
True point. True point.
There you
yeah.
go.
Thank you.
Write better questions. What?
Hi,
God,
sorry.
you're ugly in the flesh, you lot.
Oh.
Look at you.
I was wondering if you could talk about your time on Warehouse 13 and what it was like coming back for season 5.
What was like was a lot of fun to be asked to come back and do this sort of weird parallel university crap. But it was fun, man. It was a nice group of people. I love Eddie. I love those guys. It was really cool. It's another one of those shows that I went to do one episode and ended up staying for a long time. But it was nice to finish that up. That's a hell of a postcard. Wish you were here. What's in there? No. Don't want to know anything from you. Sit down. You're late. Did you bring a note? God, what's wrong with you people? Miserable. Anything else? No. Bye. What do you want?
I was wondering, growing up, my dad would play rock songs, and, before the age we were of 9, we knew, Slipknot songs and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
Slipknot at the age of 9. Slipknot weren't born when I was 9.
So I was wondering if you're proud that your kids know some really good rock songs from a very young age.
All right, my 25-year-old is a record producer. He wrote and produced Miley Cyrus's Something Beautiful. So his musical background is interesting. He has 2 Grammy Award nominations for Endless Summer Vacation. So his musical taste is probably got something to do with music was always around us. I've been making records since 1979, 1980. First album I made probably 1980. It's a long time ago. But music is very important to us. My mysterious middle child is a chef, has he has a tattoo of bird on his arm. I mean, music is very important to us. So they're both very creative. So, but it's the openness, you know. He found his own music. My son was into very different music when he was at school than the kids at school. So he was a trendsetter, years ahead of other people and stuff. But he has a very, very solid musical background, as they both do, as far as the best of everything. So, you know, my 25-year-old is a jazz player. So, you know, they have an appreciation from everything from death metal to hardcore classical music. You know, it's a fascinating thing, and what you learn as a kid is if you can find the beauty in art, it is a different thing. It is a different thing for you. Being a consumer is one thing, but being a creator is something else. You're looking for something else in that music. If it can move you, if it can change the way you feel. Excuse my language if there's any kids in here, but if you want to fight, fuck, or kill, dance, do whatever to it, then it's worth listening to. Do you know what I mean? Those are the things that move you. That's what I care about. Yeah. Your dad sounds pretty cool. Nice hat. Hey, it's coffin top. You got a coffin top. Yeah, you do. You have a coffin top. That's nice. Nice work. Shut up, you.
Hi, Mark. I have two dumb questions. First one is, why is Nashville backwards on your shirt? And secondly, if there's a story behind it, what is it?
It's a place in Tennessee, which we visit quite often. I have a lot of friends who make music there. And it's a really cool Imogen and Willie t-shirt. The fact that you're commenting on it should tell you why I'm wearing it.
I was asking why it's backwards.
It's cool. Plus, when I check myself out in the mirror, it makes sense. See, you got one that wears backwards too. So look at the hat. It's backwards. Mom. Like Bob. Next.
Hi. I was just wondering.
Hold on a second. You know I can see you guys, right? You're late. Where were you? You were doing what? You ate food. Good, good. Hey. World's changing. This is where the poor people hang out. I love it. No sympathy for you lot. You think you can hide. Hey guys, are you quilting or are you cold? Okay, cool. Hey. Who the bloody hell did you come as? Stand up. This is child abuse. Nice work. You could have spent real time and made yourself a good Crowley costume. As you lot are hopeless. Hey, you having a good day? I'm having a great time. I'm getting my steps in, hanging out. Hey, afternoon. Next question.
Oh, I can speak now?
What? What was that? What was that clever epithet that you're trying to throw?
I'm just wondering, well, now I have a different question now. How much how much of Crowley is inspired by things that are within yourself?
Yeah, I killed 6 or 7 billion people.
Yeah,
I ran
sure.
hell. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, where does it diverge?
Remember, most of this resides in your head. This is the sad and dangerous part of this conversation, is that it's your imagination that is at fault here. Crowley's just a misunderstood person that if everybody just did what he said, life would have been a lot easier. They'd have just done it. Oh, great, I got people signing. That's bullshit and bollocks in English Sign Language.
I do think that answered my question.
There you go. Nice one. What do you want?
Hey, King.
See, now that's the way to start a conversation. Hold on. You ready? Hello, girl.
Oh, yes. Hi, sire.
You all go so gooey when I do that. It's so sad. You know I can see you filming me. It's not secret. You know. God's sakes. If I wanted to hide, I'd go sit behind the drum kit. What?
So my question is, as playing the character Crowley, what was the working mindset between finding balance and showing the different emotions of Crowley, right? Because we
Paycheck at the end of the week. Oh, okay. God, life is so easy. How you doing, brother? Next.
Hi, I am so ready to get roasted. I'm Ryan, and I'm a really short man. And as a fellow short king yourself, how do you have advice for confidence when people don't take you seriously? And just in general, confidence, because I'm a mess.
So you sat in your mother's basement for 3 or 4 months thinking of this incredibly clever question to ask me.
No, I bought tickets on Tuesday. So,
Yeah. So, what you didn't think about is the fact that I'm here, and this is an interesting question. If I could only see where you were. Oh, there you are. Right. Now, you're wearing, what, 2 3-inch lifts?
they're $5.
Yeah. Yes, we're just the same size. So I work with a 6'5", a 6'3", 6'5", 6'2", and around a 6'1" actor. Most people are like, oh, I thought you were like 5'6". I am not 5'6". They're just ridiculously tall. Daniil once told me the story of somebody went to her and said, oh, you're married to one of the guys in Supernatural. Which one do you marry to, the tall one or the short one? He's 6'2". My neck is so much better than it was when I was working in Vancouver. And you? Shrimp. My wife is 6 foot tall and pretends she's 5'10", which I love too, so that's even more fun. What do you want?
Hi, my name is Lily.
So?
I think it's pretty great.
I had a
Thank
Jack
you.
Russell
My mom
Terrier.
chose
I had a
it.
Jack Russell Terrier called Lily.
Oh, I love those. My dog actually hates Jack Russells. I don't know why.
Cool.
Sorry. Anyway, my question was, as a musician, what do you really love in a soundtrack from a movie? Like, is
Music.
there? My favorite that I saw this year was Sinners, and I thought that really incorporated everything into the story, obviously, and I love musical movies.
I think
in
there are
general.
so many actually beautiful and brilliant soundtracks, like Ennio Morricone's soundtrack to what's the one they did in El Salvador? The Mission is mind blowing between choral and classical and indigenous music. It's the amount of care and passion that is put into a soundtrack is what makes me excited. I mean, the perfection. Sometimes a song is a perfect insert into a scene, but a lot of the time, music that disappears into the film and yet gives you the feeling of involvement is an absolutely incredible thing. But it's personal. It's personal choices in that way. Such music is evocative. What's funny is my kids are massive fans of soundtrack music, and so I always thought my oldest would get into soundtrack music, with the Ry Cooder stuff and the amazing things that have been done over the years. So they're like, oh, I found the soundtrack to this. I found the, It's funny, Chris, our photographer, is also very much into the same types of music as well. So, but it's just whatever floats your boat, Classic film scores are amazing. And anytime you ever hear da da dun da da dun dun da da da, you know exactly what's coming next. It's as evocative as AC/DC. You hear 3 chords of an AC/DC song, it's an AC/DC song. So music is beautiful and tribal and crazy and evocative, and a lot of it is done for flash or for show. Like Reservoir Dogs having Stuck in the Middle with You and he's cutting his ear off is really funny but there is occasional song placement that's brilliant, but usually its actual soundtrack is so clever and so beautifully done. A buddy of mine did Mr. Robot for years, and that's really, really hard shit to do. He also worked with Nine Inch Nails, so he has that very interesting crossover from that to that. Anyway, what?
Well, I want to know. So,
You want to know now, or you want to know in half an hour?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
What stupid invention do you wish you could erase from this earth?
What stupid what?
Invention.
Apathy. Hate, no. Apathy.
Yeah.
Not giving a fuck about anybody else.
Yeah.
That's an invention.
Yeah.
It's not really human. It's a product of societal situations and circumstances and fear. But apathy is just the most disgusting thing I've ever come across in my life. And it's an invention. It's not natural. It's not natural not to give a shit about something. It really isn't. There you go. Love is everything. Sorry, guys. Love is the answer to everything. It's not soppy. It's real. Oh, it's softy. No, not softy. Love isn't always a softy. You've been doing it wrong if it's... Stiffy, too. Go on.
Hi. Have you ever had a chance to work with your father? And if
Yes.
so, what was the experience like?
You do know there's such a thing called IMDb, right? So before you ask that question, you need to go look at how many times I've worked with my father, including directing him in films and other such things. But my dad and I did probably about 5 or 6 projects together over the years. A lot of fun. He played the older me in Doctor Who. I played the younger him in NCIS. We did a movie together where we're actually playing the same character, but we don't know we're the same character 35 years apart. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But yeah, I worked with him as often as I could. It was a lot of fun. He's fun to work with. Not around any longer, but he's always with me. So it's one of those things. What?
All right, so you've talked publicly about how hard
No.
some of how hard some of Crowley's speeches were because of the sheer amount of dialogue. Is there a
How
speech
what? I
in
can't hear you. What?
particular that you did like to do?
What are you saying? Can I talk publicly about...
Sorry, you talked publicly about how hard some of Crowley's dialogue is because of just how much there was. Is there a speech you really did like to give?
They're not hard at all. What's hard is trying to make it make sense. Because a lot of people write some very interesting and clever stuff and don't know what the hell it means. So, and people end sentences like, no one in the history of torture has been tortured with torture like the torture you'll be tortured with. Which ends with a preposition which annoys the shit out of me. So now you've got to be able to say that, make it mean something, and go, really? That's what you want? It's almost like they spent an awful lot of time thinking of things to give me that they didn't know how to do themselves and thought, I bet you Mark could do something with this, which is incredibly annoying, but kind of fun. My favorite story about dialogue, you've all heard it many times, is the fact that Jensen never makes mistakes. He comes from doing soap opera. He could do 68 pages of dialogue in a day. Boy never makes mistakes. Until he got to the line, I'd rather be slapped during sex by a girl in a Zorro mask. And they had the misfortune having myself and Jared in the shot. And the first time he did it, he messed it up, and then we would not let it go. 38 takes of that line exist. I've never seen a man get more angry in my life. It's wonderful. We just would not let it go. And actually, our personal gag reel for that year is all of the mistake versions of that, as the interstitials between the other stuff. But dialogue's not hard. Telling a story is telling a story. You know, like when you sing a song and you know the words, even if they're wrong. but you know the words, right? Something you really care about. So all you got to do is work out how to care about it. Work out what you want from it. It's like telling a joke. It's different every time you tell a joke. I tell the same old stories again and again and again. And they're different for different reasons. The energy's different, etc. But dialogue's not that hard. Unless it's written badly, then it's really hard. If it doesn't make sense, you got to unpick it and make it somehow make sense. Like it doesn't make sense to have a conversation with Elena on the other side of the room and then turn around and say, no one in the history of torture has been tortured with a torture like you be tortured with. It's bad blocking. It's terrible blocking. Director was an ass. But somehow I've got to make that work as an aside to 12 people who are sitting at a table, none of whom have dialogue, and I have no help. There's nothing coming at me. There's nothing that triggers that apart from my own feeling. So somehow I've got to make that work. But, you know, the end of season 9, the end of season 8, all those things, all those speeches, they're easy. They're really easy because they're a culmination of what's going on in the previous year, and they have some meaning. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the reason why you can remember 99 bottles of beer on the wall. What? You're all alone. How sad is that? Oh no, there's somebody little next to you. There you go. I genuinely couldn't see you because your hair in this light is the same color as the wall. I was like, what is that? Oh.
If you weren't an actor, what would you be doing right now instead?
What do you think I'd be doing right now? Yeah, I'm whatever. I'm whatever I need to be, whenever I need to be it. A teller of stories, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I love what I do. I'm the luckiest boy alive. Been dead too, but I'm the luckiest boy alive. Could be anything I want to be. Nobody's ever stopped me being anything I want to be. So the only thing that stops me is fear and apathy.
My question is, if you were a Muppet, which Muppet would you be?
You're going to go for that one? On the map, the Muppets are absolutely sacred to me. They're absolutely sacred to me. Everyone would love to pretend that they're animal, but they're not. They're usually like Rolf. But, yeah. What? Oscar the Grouch? You take me seriously at this point? Grouches of the world unite. Stand up for your grouchly rights. I can remember most of this. That's Sesame Street, by the way, not the Muppets, but there you go. But that's how important that shit is to us. Who's your favorite Muppet?
Kermit, obviously.
Why obviously?
He's just, I don't know.
I got a feeling he was a serial killer. Because he's a bit more like Dexter than you want him to be, if you think about it. He's nice and everything, but you got a feeling there's a few, like, pigs buried in his basement.
Your Highness, my lord.
Your lowness. I had to. What's up, darling?
What is the next thing you are excited to learn in life about?
What's the next thing I what?
The next thing or...
the next thing I'm going to do in life?
No, the next thing you're excited to learn in life.
Learn in life? What it feels like giving you a hug. Right here, right now. It's all we got. It's all we got. It's all we got. Right here, right now. So, I'm in a strange mood today. These could go in any direction. People are like, remember what you said at the convention? I'm like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have no concept of what I'm actually doing. But I get a feeling that part of my job is to implore you guys to look after yourselves and each other. I just get this massive feeling that this is no, don't do that. Don't. Listen, seriously. Now is the time more than any other time. It doesn't make me any more important. It's just I have a voice and a microphone, so I can hit a lot of you at the same time. But I see so much turmoil and so much pain and difficulty. And I see how positive these rooms are and these events are. I was talking about this earlier in a meet and greet, and I had a friend, Hubert Selby Jr., wrote Last Exit to Brooklyn. He wrote Requiem for a Dream. They were part of his life. And he always said to me that AA was the great spiritual experiment. And he's right, because it was an open door for anybody to walk in, etc. It just happens to be my story, and that makes sense to me. For those of you that's not your story, maybe you wouldn't understand that. But what's really amazing is he's not alive anymore. And I never knew him when I was doing these things. I never knew him when I was doing guest talks or doing whatever. And if he saw this, if he saw what happens in these rooms and what happens with stands and what Misha, not Castiel, does, and what my compatriots build and care about and back and put behind, that you guys step in and make a million times bigger, he would be absolutely astonished that you're not actually united by a common peril. You're united by a common love, which is a really fascinating thing, because I can't think, I mean, football isn't like that, not anymore. Everything's so polarizing, everything is so negative, everything is such a competition, everything is just a driving down on the psyche, a crushing of the psyche. I'm better than you. I was proselytized at 8 o'clock this morning while waiting for a car. And I got the giggles because this poor girl was like, would you like to read the Bible with me? And I was like, you don't know me. You don't know what I believe. You don't know my connection with my God, if I have one or I believe in one, is so personal to me. Why is this a street corner? And I'm going, okay, so it's a weird thing, and I can make fun of somebody proselytizing, and I could be negative about it. And I'm going, wow. At this point, I'm going, there is such a need for unity and togetherness that is actually not a strange thing to ask. It's not. It's easy to make fun of somebody who's pitching, competitive religion. But the truth of it is that there is such a yearning for community and togetherness and kindness and a sense of belonging and a sense of safety. I mean, the mental health aspects of our world right now are just terrifying. How many people here have been diagnosed with an actual mental health disorder? Now look around behind you as the hands are up. Most of the rest of them are lying or haven't been diagnosed yet. But, and by the way, liking Supernatural is probably a mental disorder of some sort. Liking Castiel is absolutely a mental disorder of some sort. But that's just my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But the truth is that I love doing this. This is the kindest and safest place I could be on a Saturday. I think this is absolutely magic. I love the way you treat each other. I love the way you help each other. I love what you do for each other. All around this little show that could. All around this little show that has some wonderful themes and some really positive aspects about good and evil and brotherhood and family and all those inclusive and wonderful things that exist. It's magic to me, and it seems to be the antidote for the crap that's going on right now. So I implore you, if you're struggling, those of you who've got your hands up, I hope you're getting professional help, because the mind is a dangerous neighborhood. Do not go in there alone. If you are struggling in any shape or form, please ask for help. There are people that will help you. Not everybody will, but they might point you in the right direction or get you to the right people. And if you are not brave enough to ask, those of you that can see somebody struggling, please put your hand out and say, can I help you anyway? Because you know what? You get to be a human being. You get to feel like a human being. You get to live in this amazing place that we all inhabit together. You get to enjoy these incredible experiences. You get to hang out with my friends. You get to feel okay. And that's a great start to anything. My life would not be the same without this. This is a magic, magic, magic thing that you guys have created for us. We love it. We love seeing you. We love being with you. We'll come up with almost any excuse to do this, will we not? I think that's the truth of it. I love you with all my heart. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope to see more of you. Thank you for this life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Sheppard.
Mr. Crowley.